Okay, I recorded this clip in Unreal Tournament before, and I actually my audio for some reason wasn't working, so instead of re-recording it, I'm just doing a voiceover here. Basically, this video is about improving your aim in the way that I used to improve my aim, which is when I used to play Unreal Tournament 2000 or the 1999 version of Unreal Tournament. I'm gonna pause this real quick. And basically, you know, this is a guy. This is kind of like my kind of funny little video to talk about how I improve my aim. And a lot of people are playing Overwatch right now, and I think that Unreal Tournament was a game unlike like Quake. If you look like stylosa's videos, in where he's talking about improving your aim, and some of these other people, they talk about some of the older FPS games. Because to me, these games, the hit scan, the accuracy that you had to be very, very, very good. So they're great games as far as when you play these games. I mean, if you get really good in these games and you can land headshots at great ranges, then you really know that your aim's pretty solid. These games typically are pretty fast moving. So what I do is I use Unreal Tournament, and this is even for Overwatch. This is a great training. I've seen videos where people say use these different tools that click really fast here, or color changes click here, or these balloons pop up and you got to shoot them, or there's a sheep that moves and shoot him, and all those are great and they're fine and they're dandy. But this will do it all at the same time. You don't have to sit here and do all these different tests and stuff and all these different types of, things to increase your reflexes or your twitch responses. I don't really like some of the terms that people have created. All it really is twitch response. And they could come with these like jerk shots. I mean, what kind of it's kind of silly. It's just twitch response. It's how fast you can move the aiming cursor to the target and fire your shots. When you look at this little window here, of this, you can see the map. What the map looks like, this little mini preview. As people are moving through the map, as they appear off the edges of the screen onto your screen, how fast you can get your cursor moved over to their head, fire the button and hit their head and kill them is what you're aiming for. So that's just your twitch response. In map, obviously, getting an innate feel for the different maps in Overwatch is going to help you because you're going to kind of know where people want to snipe them from, where they want to come from, where they want to sneak up behind you from. That just comes from playing those maps over and over and over again. So you'll get kind of a natural third sense, a spider sense, if you want to call it, where these things are going to happen, where they're coming from, and you just kind of are going to look. You look over your shoulder. I know that maybe Tracer may like to come behind me in this particular hallway, so I'm going to kind of glance over my shoulder, or I'm going to be really ready and know that she might appear on my screen at a moment's notice. And when she does, I'm going to use my twitch reflexes to very, very quickly respond to that. And you want to do it all the time anyways, but there are going to be certain parts where you're more hypersensitive in the game than you are in other parts of the map. Obviously, when you first start the map and you jump out in certain areas, you're not going to be very hypersensitive because you know that you're on defense or that the enemy's very far away. So the reason I use Unreal Tournament is because of you have a lot of settings that you can configure, and you can set your bots up with different skill levels, and you can set up the speed of the gameplay, and you can set up the type of the gameplay. So let's go ahead and start this video. So I'm going in and I'm creating the map that I like to use, which is Deck 16, because it has different ramps and slopes and elevations. So not only are you looking around you, but you're looking up and you're looking down, and you always want to do that in these types of games. You want to be able to look anywhere in the 360 world. You got to be able to see. So here you can talk about you can change the bots to any skill that you want. So when your aiming's not that good, just use novice, average, move it up as you get better. That will progressively make your competition more difficult. The number of bots here, I usually like to put quite a few. You might 15, 16 different bots. So there's lots of people around you shooting at you. It makes it more difficult. Again, you can knock this down to less bots if you don't want, as much. If you don't want to get killed as much. So right now for this video, because I haven't played FPS games in like 10 years, 10, 12 years. So my aim, I mean, I'm horrible right now, but I used to be extremely, extremely good, almost pro level at Unreal Tournament. So what I'm trying to show you here is not that I look good, but I used to be really good. And the goal of this map really is I would say every second or third shot should be a headshot. The pro players, they may be shooting, I don't know, they maybe 70% of their shots are going to be headshots, but for you, the goal should be every second or third shot, you really want to be pulling off a headshot. Here I'm adjusting the mouse sensitivity. On Unreal Tournament, I use 3.5. This is going to vary based on your mouse DPI settings and just your play style. 3.5 is extremely fast. The default for UT was around 1.9, I think. A lot of people would even knock it down to all the way down to 1.3. In Unreal Tournament, you have a lot of long maps, so you could be shooting at people very, very far away. They're very small targets. That's why I say it's a great game to improve your aim upon, because you're shooting at stuff that's very tiny on the map. It may only be 30 pixels, and your aiming cursor that I'm using is just the little dot, which is probably only 6 to 8 pixels in size, so it's very small. I set it to 99 frags. This is deathmatch, and I think I'm changing the game volume because it was awfully loud. But as you watch, the goal is, and you'll see me start to like move my mouse a lot, just shaking the mouse really fast, just to kind of get my brain and my reflexes going. You'll see me moving the mouse left and right really fast. You'll see me do that a lot, and it's just me trying to kind of get my motor reflexes working quickly. So here my aim obviously is really bad. I'm kind of jerking around. This will improve over time. What's nice about this video that I did take is you'll see that I start to improve very quickly. Not very quickly, but I start to improve. And that's pretty cool that in a game that I only played, 2 or 3 minutes, already I could see improvement. There's a headshot. And that is what's so great about this map. And the reason that I like UT is I go and I set up 135 game speed. You can make it faster if you want. You can make it slower if you want. I would not recommend making it slower than 135. I would try 135 as you get better and better. You can push it up to 155. And that will make it even more difficult because the targets are going to be moving faster, and you're going to be moving faster. As you get more skilled at hitting the headshots, then start using the double tap left and right to do your dodges. That makes it even more difficult for the enemy to hit you. But again, it's going to make you move faster, which means your aim has to be even that much better to land your shots. So really, a lot of people may disagree or agree with me, but for me, this is an excellent an excellent way to work on your twitch response and just your aiming in general. And a lot of those tools I've seen people using, they're good tools. I mean, they are good tools. But to me, if you just did what I'm doing here, it would cover the gamut. It would cover all of that. You wouldn't have to do this or that and this. Just do this. And I would say do this 3 times a day. Set it for 99 frag limit. And you will see a dramatic increase in your aiming and in your response. And of course, Overwatch is a different game. And in Overwatch, there isn't a lot of really this type of headshots. I mean, obviously Widowmaker, but she's got a charge delay. But once she has that charge in play, then of course, it's going to come into play, trying to move quickly. But the other thing that this is really going to help you on is just shooting while moving, and that is really going to come into play in Overwatch. So I think the one thing that people don't think about in FPS as much as they should is your skill with movement, and that's because they played Counter-Strike and Battlefield and these games where you're moving very slowly. You don't have these types of movement modifiers like sprint, like grappling hook, like rocket jumping. All of those things existed, not grappling hook, but a lot of those things pretty much existed in Unreal Tournament. And Unreal Tournament had a lot of modifiers, so there was a lot of different interesting ways to move. So getting good at shooting while moving and being the most important thing that and you can see I'm starting to improve in the game already. And this is the first time I played the game in like 12 years. And just in a few minutes, my aim is starting to get better. But what people don't think about, and I think that's the end of the video, what people don't work on enough in FPS games that are a fast-paced game like an Unreal or a Quake or even, really, Overwatch, and maybe I never played Halo, so I guess you could say Halo. I don't really know. Is being able to move. I mean, you could play matches where you don't even shoot, and I know this sounds really funny, but if I was playing a death match in Quake or Unreal, sometimes I wouldn't shoot my gun. All I would do is play the game and try not to get hit, and that skill of not being able to get hit is an extremely valuable skill. It's going to be just as valuable in Overwatch, being able to not get hit, being able to understand your surroundings, how to block their shots with terrain, and how to just simply move in very, very unpredictable patterns. Now, this is going to be more advantageous for certain players like Tracer, like maybe Soldier 76, especially Tracer, gods that are shooting a lot of automatic fire type weapons that requires them to be fairly close because their damage falls off at distance, but they want to be fairly close. Those are the gods that, since they're close, they are at risk. They are putting themselves out there. So movement really comes into play. And so do not discount movement as a skill. In my opinion, movement in an FPS game like Unreal Tournament, like Overwatch, is more important than your aim. It really is. Because not getting killed is a lot more important than landing a headshot every, second shot. If you land a headshot every third shot, but your moving skill is way better than the guy who's landing headshot every second shot, I guarantee you that you'll be a better player for your team than he is. Because, yeah, sure, he's hitting his headshots more often, but because his skill at not getting hit is not as good, he's probably dying just as much as you. So I guess it kind of counterbalances, but be very aware of how you're moving. Make sure that you're being very unpredictable. Do the drunken boxer, be, Jackie Chan or something, you know what I mean? But move in ways that are just kind of, it's like if you're looking at Dune and he's walking across the sand and he wanted to kind of walk in a way that wasn't consistent so that the worms could come up beneath the ground and find him. It's almost like that. You're kind of like moving right, and then maybe I'll move left, then maybe I'll move left a little bit, and then back right quickly. And it's just you have to really do, and it gets to be a natural way that you play. And some of the best players in Unreal Tournament that I went up against, like Unforgiven, he was amazing. I could never hit the guy. It was unbelievable. I mean, I could kill anybody, and I'd go up against this guy, and I had a hard time killing him. And it was because of how he moved. He was so unpredictable and didn't move like everybody else. Most people in Counter-Strike in these games, they go left, right, left, right. Well, that's easy. He goes left, guess what? I put my cursor, to the right of him because like let's say I'm looking at him and he moves to my left. Well, I'm going to put the cursor maybe um, well, if you think of it, aiming cursor as being 6 pixels in size, I may put my aiming cursor 20 pixels to the right of where he is because I know he's going to move right back the other direction, right into where I'm aiming, and I'm going to hit him. And that's because most people are fairly consistent with their movement. So I'm aiming where he's not even at because I know that's where he's going to go. So think about movement. But if you don't have Unreal Tournament, you can probably find it somewhere. If not, you can hit me up in this video and maybe I'll put up a download somewhere for people to download it. But definitely I think you can probably get it. I think that I've seen sites where you can download it for free. So, but it's. I guess I'm just trying to give an alternative way to improving your aim, and also talk about movement and other things that you can do to make yourself a better FPS player in a game that's a fast-paced action shooter like Overwatch is. Because Overwatch is not Counter Strike. Overwatch is not Battlefield. And I hate those games. I don't like those games because of the movement. I can't stand. I feel like I'm walking through mud. I can't stand Counter Strike. But I was a big UT player for a very long time, and I was a very, very good player. And to me, Overwatch is a pretty good game. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the kind of skill cap that Unreal Tournament did. If you guys want to see real skill, play Overwatch, do whatever you want. You can go up against them. I'm sure there's some guys in Overwatch that are really skilled. But if you go to the Unreal Tournament, the beta of the 2007, and just jump onto those servers, and you'll hit some players you'll think they're cheating because they're so good, and they're not cheating. They're just that good. So there's some really, really skilled players because they came from, Unreal Tournament like I did. They played these games where, not only did you have to shoot people who were in front of you, you got to shoot them from behind you from really, really great distances and with all kinds of crazy movement mechanics. So at very, very fast speeds, you could be playing Instagame at 155 speed. So the game's 55% faster than normal speed. And it really increases your reflex speed, your time, because it has to. You have to be able to anticipate that much faster because the game's moving 55% faster. So I played a lot of 155, 55 Instagib because it made me a better player. Anyways, this video went way longer than I meant for it to go. But it's just some tips that I'm throwing out there to increase your gameplay for a fast action-paced game like Overwatch. And I hope that somebody gets something out of it. Thanks.